Okay. Hello, everyone. Good morning, Mexico. Good afternoon in France. Welcome to the second day of Calibri meeting. Today, we have interesting session divided in two parts. The first one is about observations of high energy transients, and the second one we will have theoretical and numerical works. The first speaker is Julien Peloton, who will be talking about bringing the transient sky in the Rubin Observatory era. You have 20 minutes for your talk, Julien. Please show us your presentation.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Can you see the slides full screen?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, let me start then. So thanks for the invitation. First, I will focus on the Rubin Observatory, especially one of its components, which will be the alert stream sent during the survey. First, what's the Vera Rubin Observatory? I think you all heard about this. So it's under construction in Chile for the moment. So you can see it's a quite recent picture at the summit. So the commissioning will start roughly next year, and we hope to start observation by 2024. So it's very much the same schedule as SVOM in the sense that 2023, 2024, there will be data flowing. So the Rubin Observatory will conduct a survey called LSST. So it's a mess, the name LSST, Vera Rubin, etc. So I will probably use both in the wrong way. But anyway, the survey is called LSST. So this survey will last for 10 years, so 2024, 2034. And the telescope is quite huge. So it's a more than 6 meter primary diameter. The primary diameter of the mirror is 6 meter. It will observe in 6 bands, mostly visible, but also near infrared. And basically, it will have two main observing modes. The main cadence that will observe the sky, observe, let's say, almost all the sky as seen from Chile, and go back to same position on the sky every 3 to 4 days. So that you have like, let's say, a repeating cadence. And there will be also deep drilling field where on some part of the sky, the telescope will come back more frequently with a high cadence to try to go deeper. So of course, this is exciting, very exciting. There will be a lot of science cases to be done. That will be a great experiment, I think. But there is a price to pay for that. Is the volume of data that will be generated and sent during the observation. So if we focus only on the alert stream, so the alert that will be generated by the survey, we computed that there will be about 10 million alerts per night over 10 years. That's huge. That's way over the current order, the current numbers. So it's several orders of magnitudes above current streams. And we know that the current tools to perform the streaming, to basically to get the alert, extract the science, and try to do something out of it, those tools will not scale. So those 10 million alerts, they equal to 1 terabyte per night, basically. So it's huge. So that's the first challenge. The second challenge, we know that LSST alone will not able to perform all the science it would like to perform, just because, for example, it's limited in the frequency coverage and for other reasons. And we know that if we want to do something, we'll have to work together. So it's really like a multi-messenger astronomy problem. So if we see something alone, that won't be enough. We need to complement observation with other experiments like SVOM and Calibri. And last but not least, follow-up resources will be limited. Okay, so even though LSST sent 10 million alerts, they cannot be follow-up, all of them individually. It's just impossible. We don't have enough resource to follow up all of the things. And we know it won't be multiplied by 10 in the next 10 years. So we'll have to be careful and select only interesting candidates, the most interesting candidates out of those 10 millions in order to be efficient. Okay, so LSST, of course, will not stream those 10 million alerts to all scientists in the world. You might be let's say you might have worked with alert. Usually you just listen to a given experiment and there is no intermediate step in between the experiment and you can directly receive the alert. With LSST, that will not be possible given the volume of data. So LSST decided to call for brokers. So brokers are systems that will basically get the data flow, the data volume, ingest it, extract the science, and then redirect interesting alerts to the scientific communities. So LSST made a selection of those brokers, so those systems over the last 2 years, and here are the final systems that will operate during observations. So you can see there have been 7 teams chosen by the observatory, 3 in Europe, 3 in the US, and 1 in Chile, LRC. And today, of course, I will focus on one of them called Fink, which is a broker developed mainly in France, but with international contributions. So what are our scientific objectives in Fink? We want to study transient sky as a whole, okay? Not just GRB, for example, but everything, because LSST will explore basically everything. So let's use it. So from solar system objects to galactic and extragalactic science. The way it works in LSST is it will come back to the same field every 3 days. So every 3 days, you will have a new observation that you will compare to previous observation. And by making the difference between the new observation and the previous one, you will be able to remove all the static background and retrieve what has moved. Either the flux has varied or the object has moved, like an asteroid. And everything basically above 5 sigma in the subtraction will be called an alert. So we submitted well, we have a white paper. If you are interested in more details, you can have a look. Of course, LSST does not exist for the moment, so we have to practice with something else. And we are fortunate to have ZTF. So ZTF is a wiki transient facility. So it's a telescope. You have a small picture here, which is located in California. And the idea of ZTF is to, well, they have their own science cases, of course, but they also test a lot of LSST ideas in a smaller version. So for us, it's great because we can start to practice and develop things toward LSST. So we have a MOU with ZTF in order to get their data, their alert data, and process them. We receive roughly 200,000 alerts per night, so it's huge. It's not at LSST scale, but still beyond any current stream that were sent before. So we receive a lot of alerts. Of course, we don't process all of them because most of them are very noisy or junk, just bogus. So we have quality cuts, and we basically process 1/3 of what is received. It's probably the same for LSST. And you can see here is a plot showing the number of processed alerts, so alerts which are considered as valid from a scientific point of view as a function of time for 2 years. For the last 2 years, 2019, October or November till now. The median number is 70,000 a day. So what do I call an alert? So an alert, so as I say, is based on different image analysis. You make the subtraction, and if something's left, you have an alert. And each alert contains different information. First, information about the new detection, so the magnitude, position on the sky, estimate of the noise, etc. There are a few things. You have neighbors information. So if there is, for example, a match with already known catalog objects, like in Gaia or Pan-STARRS. You have also historical information if this object has been seen previously. So if you have an object that periodically sends, well, it varies, it will send alerts regularly. And so we know we have this information inside the alert packet. And we have also small images around the detection. So it's a 60 by 60 pixels, so it's quite small. So ZTF 1 pixel is basically 1 arc second, so it's basically 1 arc minute scale. And so with that information, you need to extract the science. You need to extract the nature of this alert and try to assess well, whether this is interesting or not, whether we need to perform some follow-up, or if we just need to give up. So this is for ZTF, just to mention that LSST alert content will be very similar. There will be plus or minus a few things, but basically you should expect roughly the same thing. So I think since 2019, the start of the project, we collected more than 120 million alerts. We perform two main things. One is cross-matching. So we have different services to cross-match incoming alerts with either known catalogs or database. And we mainly use CDS at Strasbourg services. And you can see, for example, at the top of that slide, top right, the projection of all alert that has a counterpart in Simbad. And you can see they are mostly galactic objects. So they are here lying along the galactic plane. You have a few extra galactic objects as well. We have also a lot of classification algorithms. So they are mostly machine learning based, but not only. Here's the projection. They are mostly targeting extragalactic objects, supernova, gamma ray burst, afterglows, etc., etc. We also have a huge contaminant, which is the solar system objects. So they are moving objects. The problem is they appear one night and they disappear, let's say, a few nights after from the original position. So you have an extra step to link them across space and not just time. But here are they, nicely aligning against the ecliptic plane. So it's quite nice. So each night we transmit a lot of things to our users. So users can find known variable stars, thousands, no solar system objects. We have also satellite glints or space debris, quite a few. And new things like new solar system object candidates, new supernovae, new core collapse. We have also fast transient candidates. Of course, it's difficult to know what they are because they are very fast. So it could be kilonova, GRB, cataclysmic variable, etc., etc. Okay. You as a user, you can access all Fink data. They are available online. You have two entry points. One is live stream. So basically, if you want to receive information live, so as soon as the processing from ZTF or LSST is done, you can subscribe to those live stream. There exists default live stream, but you can also design filters, personalizable filters, to select the object of interest, and you will receive the data live. Live means after the processing delays, but usually in Fink, it's like 1 or 2 minutes maximum after the alert emission. The other thing is we have a science portal, which is a web application and associated to a REST API. And you can go to that link. Let me show you. It will bring you to the science portal. And here you can basically query the whole database. So this is currently, well, 40, 50 million of alerts. And here you can make a query. Let me just show you, for example, you enter either alert ID, you can perform a consearch, of course, search by date, search by classification or solar system. The system will retrieve the alert of interest, and then you can explore the data inside the alert packet in that thing. So what you have is the light curve, for example, that we found. You have the different images. Well, I will let you explore. So where is my Fink Calibri? Okay, so of course I'm here today to speak about the GRB thing, and especially the link with Calibri. So in Fink we have a GRB effort inside, especially with people from SVOM. What is nice with SVOM and LSST, if you look at the plot on the right, and it's credited from Damien Turpin, is that SVOM and LSST will probe two different aspects of a given GRB events. So SVOM will be very good at looking at the prompt emission, so something like very fast. So what you have, sorry, I need to explain, you have basically the magnitude as a function of time expressed in seconds. So basically here you have 10 seconds, well, 1 second, 10 seconds, it's going up. So SVOM will probe the prompt emission, while LSST, because it goes very deep and because of the cadence, will be able to probe the late emissions, something after several days. So the Rubin Observatory will not perform target of opportunity. Okay, it will not repoint, but given the cadence and the very nice limited magnitude, it will really be able to follow the signal over several days, several weeks, even for the brightest event. So a week, I think, is 10 to the 7 or something like that, a bit smaller. And on top of that, Rubin will be able to localize precisely an event, of course, assuming we can find this event in the deluge of alerts. And that's the role of Fink, is to try, given the area or the search area, to find a credible transient for the association. So the goal in Fink is the detection of both fast fading and slow evolving GRB afterglows. And there are 3 things we try to tackle in Fink. Is first, the online response to a query and TO program. So if there anything interesting, we should be able to react as quickly as possible, given the LSST data. We are trying to enable complementary observation with the ground segment, and I will discuss that a bit later, of course, with Calibri. And we want also to enable sub-threshold analysis and post-processing. So there will be case where both VOM and LSST will miss an event, but we want to have the ability to go back in time and search for a signal that were probably too faint at first glance to be detected, but maybe by reprocessing the data, we can find them back. We have 3 ongoing efforts: integration with VOM, that's led by Damien Turpin. There is an effort to look for orphan GRB afterglows directly in the ZTF or Rubin stream. And of course, one of the crucial tasks is to get some modeling of the GRB and kilonova, fast transient in general, at Rubin scale. That's not obvious. We don't know much about those signals. Link with Calibri. So I was fortunate to be at OHP 2 weeks ago, thanks for the Swarm team. So I could take a picture of Calibri here. So in practice, of course, not all interesting candidates in Fink can be a target of opportunity for the satellite, or just we won't have enough information to make a decision. And for us, the ground segment is a huge opportunity to fill this gap for some interesting candidates for which we would need additional observation to help further decision. Now, the question is, what makes a candidate interesting for ground follow-up? And I don't have any answer for the moment to that question, but fortunately, we have a first hands-on meeting December 2nd, so in 2 weeks or next week, and we try to get some first proof of concept and get it live as soon as possible. So the idea is we receive alerts in Fink from ZTF. We'll select a few interesting alerts, and those alerts will redirect them to Calibri and try to get some follow-up observation. And then we inject back this information into the Fink system to try to make a decision later on. Voilà, I'm done. I was probably fast. Thanks for listening. If you have any question, I would be happy to answer. Thanks.
Thank you, Julien. Please raise your hands if you have a question. Please, Benjamin. Benjamin?
Oh, sorry, is it better now?
Yes.
Oh, okay, sorry, I think I had a problem. Okay, it might be related to my non-understanding of how LSST is working, but on the Fink light curve that you show at the beginning, the time resolution seems to be something like a few observations per day or something, like on the website that you showed before.
Oh.
Sorry. Basically, my question is, how can you, with just one observation in one band a day, how can you make the difference between, let's say, a supernova and a kilonova? That's something that I don't really get.
Yeah. Yeah, with one observation point, of course, you cannot do much. There's nothing you can do. I mean, even the most clever machine learning things won't do anything. So of course, you need some observation. So that's the way we work is highly dependent on the cadence. So here, for example, you have 1 point every 2 days.
Okay.
Oh, well, you have 2 filters per day, every 2 days. Sorry. So of course, you have to wait a few days to try to guess something. But of course, light curve is not the only object we use to make classifications. So light curve is one part, but you need the contextual information. So for example, host galaxy is another thing. We can use neighbors information, etc., etc. So
yeah, you use, for example, like the content of the galaxy, if it's blue galaxy or something. Okay.
For example, yes.
And LSST will observe in one band every night. Sorry, I mean that must be silly questions, but it's one band every 3 nights at the same location, or it's like several bands every night.
So it's not a silly question because no one knows. So there will be something in total, and they will change filters during the night, of course, but the way we change those filters is not yet decided. So we cannot. We don't know yet.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, next question from Stefan.
Yes, it's not a question for Julien, it's a more general question, it's for the Mexican colleagues. Are you interested in SST, and are you involved on the project, or what is your plan for the observation delivered by LSST?
This was my question too. Because of course we are interested in this project, but we have it's not a formal plan yet, but of course we are interested to, but maybe more in help with the machine learning. Fabio is helping me with that, but we can discuss this later with Julian, maybe tomorrow in the discussion, because it's very interesting. Yes, it was my question, if we can talk after this this talk.
I might not be available for the discussion tomorrow because kids, but I would be happy to discuss offline or later on. Yeah.
Okay.
Julia, you have said in your last sentence, one of the last slides, that you have a meeting the 8th, no, the 2nd, the 2nd of December. What is this meeting?
Oh, this is with Damien and Bertrand. I'm going. I'm going to CA. And the purpose of that meeting is especially to discuss this link and trying to see what we need to design and implement for that.
Okay, no problem. I'm sure I will have some feedback quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you again, Julien, for this interesting talk.
Thanks.
Let's move on to the second talk by Benjamin Arsier. He is going to talk